Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a video on Elin. This video will be a rapid fire video on some of the core game mechanics that exist in Elin. This is meant to give you some of the endgame, up to some of the endgame content like breeding and genes, and this video will be fast and meant just to brush on many of the deep systems that exist in this game. So when you first start out, you're looking like this, and Fiamma and Ashland here are going to tell you that you need to start paying taxes. And basically, to get you going right away, I would highly suggest just picking things like these white flowers and mushrooms and putting them in your shipping bin, and that will pay your taxes for some time. So let me just go ahead and make myself smaller here, and you can see what I'm talking about. So white flowers here into your shipping bin, perfect. Mushrooms that you come across, stuff like that. I think it is worth noting that your hotbar that exists along the bottom here is not where actually your combat stuff will go. So anything that's equipped to your character is over here. And all of these things are movable. We're not going to get too deep into that though. So taxes, start out by picking flowers, stuff like that, and eventually you can move on to other things, which we will get to. So we'll go ahead and load into our other game here. I'm going to have links in the description for all of the stuff that I run over here, and the first thing I'm going to run over is going to be just the map. So when you exit your base, this is what the map looks like. I'm going to link this down there. You're going to be right around where it says meadow here. And this is going to show where all of the towns are. So when you're looking something up in any of the wikis or anything like that, where trainers are or anything like that, you can use this map. So, secondly, you have 90 days when you first get into the game where there is no death punishment. So explore the map a little bit. Don't go too far early on. But if you die, and it will say crawl up, and you can crawl up in your base, and there's no punishment for that for 90 days, and even after, the punishment is not too great. So I think the first thing worth noting is that all of your equipment and everything you have is made of materials. So this is made of adamantite, and your material plus your skill needs to be strong enough to break certain things. So when you go out into a world tile here, like this one, you're going to come across trees, right? And you can see with my mods, it shows that I need to have a level and strength equal to 11 to get this. And that goes with everything in the game. So if you're running into stones and stuff that you can't pick up, or you can't get with your pickaxe that you've made at the start of the game, that is why. You don't have enough levels in mining or gathering, whatever it be, and you also don't have the appropriate material. And everything has a hardness, and I'm going to link this in the description also. So this is the materials page, and if you are looking for what you can put on your pickaxe to make it stronger because you're just not able to get something you feel like you should, you can click this hardness, right? And then you can see, oh, if I use a steel pickaxe, I should be able to get that. I think it's worth noting that early on, you are able to pick up diorite. These are worth looking at, and I believe basalt also. So basalt is black in color when you see the stones on the ground in dungeons or whatever, and then the diorite is kind of green in color. So next thing, whatever you would like to level in the game, you just use. So there's a lot of different things to level up in this game. Here's an entire list, and as you use them more, you will level. Now, later on, we'll talk about trainers also, but for now, the leveling like this, if you want to become really good at fishing, you need to fish a bunch, right? And there is like XP modifiers and stuff, which we will chat about shortly. So farming. I also have a farming page, which I will link also, which is this. Now, the most important part of this page is where to get all of the seeds. Um, so if read up that, oh my God, I want to get apples for something that I'm cooking in the game, then this is where to get the seeds. So you won't have to use this page often, but if you need it, it's here. Okay? And really, what farming does is helps you to grow food that you can feed to yourself and you can feed to your allies. We'll get into cooking and food next, but I think it's worth noting that anything you pick up with your axe here will turn into food. So this turned into these mushrooms. Okay? Anything you pick up with your sickle will turn into seeds. Okay? And this goes with the wild also. Now, all these mushrooms that I planted here, and mushrooms can grow in the winter. They're, I believe, the only thing that can. So, I'm just going to use a sickle on these mushrooms that I planted, and you'll notice one thing, and that it turned into all these different seeds, but they were all just basic mushrooms, right? So each of these has their own properties. So if I specifically want to grow one type of mushroom, maybe I only want strength potency mushrooms. This will come into play when it comes to cooking, but the farming is quite deep. So if you want to grow dexterity potency mushrooms because you're a bow user, right? Or strength potency or charisma potency, you can choose. So I'm like magic, so I'm going to replant this magic one. And then those are going to be my mushrooms for this playthrough. And that perfectly kind of leads into cooking. Now, cooking is very in-depth in this game. This is my kitchen currently, and you can see I've had some fires. But there is all these different ways of cooking. And, you'll get very basic recipes all the way to very advanced recipes that have a lot of different stuff. But I think what's important to know is that the food that you cook, some will say like strength, and some will say like this. It has level 5 CHA, which is charisma. So level 5 charisma and level 4 charisma potency. Now, the way I like to kind of look at it, people could argue this. This is how I see it. That charisma that's on there is just straight experience. So if you are wanting to level something specific, grow things that you want to specifically level, and eat it with something with potency also. So the charisma here would be straight experience for you, and the charisma potency would be an experience multiplier. So say 1.5 times experience gained total, and then the charisma would just be flat experience. So realistically, this piece of cactus jelly that I've created here has charisma experience, charisma potency, experience modifier, endurance modifier, dexterity modifier, and then magic just experience. So when you get really high level foods, they give a lot more just straight experience. So as your characters eat them, say your followers or whatever it be, they'll level very fast. And that's the fastest way to level for sure, is feed them really strong food. So I'll show briefly the cooking section that I also will put down in the description. But this is going to cover all these recipes, and I'll go over how to get recipes shortly. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about briefly is just meat and egg traits. You'll notice that as you're picking up meat, it all has different stats and everything. And look at all these different meats I have in here. And these are just the ones I save. So I'm going to show this one also, which will be posted below, which is the food and monster food traits. So this is going to have all of the meat and the egg traits. So if you are looking for something specific, like say, I know I really want strength meat, you can sort here by strength, and I can see, wow, dragon has a lot, right? If you're looking at later on what you want to be eating, um, I just want to do a couple quick shout outs for perception. Wisps are everywhere. So if you have a brush with you and you're just, as you see them in dungeons, stuff like that, around the open, just brush them. You have a chance of taming them. So you can take them back, butcher them, and get this 11 perception meat. Another thing I wanted to show quickly, because perception is really good for a lot of classes to hit spells, is Eggs of Silverbell, which has 26 perception, and that's just kind of like the flat experience, right? And this can only be gotten if you put them as bathing in their traits. And if you don't understand that right now, that's perfectly fine. Come to this video when you're ready for that stuff, or that part of the video. So, next portion I'll talk about is trainers. In a bunch of the different towns, there's trainers, and I'll post this again below. And this shows exactly what these trainers do, and where you can get specific trainers. Now, the trainers use these platinum coins, and they give an experience modifier for all of that stuff. So you go to the trainer, and if I want to level my cooking a lot, I want to go here to Palmia or to Olvina and put my silver coins into the trainer for cooking, and it'll give me an experience modifier for that. Silver coins are best gotten through quests, I would think. And that kind of leads to allies. Allies, and what you can see here that I have is a mod, and I'll show you what that is also, are the characters that you have with you, whether it be something that you're riding on, which I'm riding on one ally, which is this giant cat, Carbuncle, or hosted, which is another ability in the game that basically makes our characters 3-stack. So I have one character hosted like a parasite, and then another character as my mount that I ride on. And then all the other characters I have just kind of do combat and run around with me, but they get all the same bonuses as you. When it comes to food and stuff, so if you want them leveling specific stuff, you feed them specific food. Okay, I'm not going to get too deep into allies because that is a very deep content, a bit of content there, but we'll move on to currencies. I have a currency tab. If you're getting all these different currencies and you're like, what do they do? A lot of them are for the gotcha machines, and I'll show you what those look like. But the most important currencies you need to know about are the orens, which is the money in the game, the gold bars, which expand your home, and I'll show you that briefly, and then the platinum coins we talked about for the trainers, and the small metals, which if you look back at the map, there is this Mural and Garok's workshop. That's where you spend those metals, and I'm not going to go into detail on the kind of stuff that you can buy there. Very good weapons, upgrades for your chest, stuff like that. That is another deep topic. Recipes for things can be gotten while either sleeping, crafting similar stuff, or using a hammer and breaking something down. So if I was looking at, say her, not my drug dealer, I'm sorry, my fruit keeper, and she had this king parfait, and I was like, whoa, I don't have a king parfait. I'd like to learn how to get that. You can drop these and break them with a hammer, and you have a chance of learning that recipe. That is the best way to do it, by far. So, in the mid game, after you've been picking your flowers and you're looking to, make more money, there is a couple ways of doing that, and one of them, the one that I have chosen to do, is fishing. And it is winter, but I have a bunch of fish here, And if you turn these fish into the wine barrels that you'll get, and you'll have to Google how to unlock some of this, but put these into this and wait for a little bit, that will turn into wine, in which you can just then take to your shipping chest and sell. That is big. Now, I do have a list of stuff that I can pop up. This is, the bottom part is the sorting that I do, because a lot of the fish are not worth keeping. So what I do is, under the yellow line here, they all go into a compost box, and they get turned into fertilizer to make more bait. And then all the middle ones I turn into bonito flakes by putting them in a sawmill, and then I put them in the barrel. And if they're at the green and above, they go directly into the barrel. That's how they make the most money. So just wanted to show that briefly. Again, if stuff like this pops up, just pause it if it's going too fast for you. Now, I did say some of the fish go into becoming fertilizer. You put them in here, they become fertilizer. You can then drop this on the ground and break this. So that has become 175 corpses here. And when you go into your quick craft, you can use those corpses to make more bait. So it is an endless bait loop, and you could do this for multiple days if you like to. And then another big money-making thing, the main one, is blueberries. So once you have your farming high enough level, you just plant blueberries, put them directly into the shipping chest. They make tons of money. And there is a lot of other ways. Some people like to make foreign doors, which is just a craftable. You make the doors. It's wood and fiber turned into, and I believe it's the carpenter's table. Yeah, for these foreign doors, and you just farm textures, planks, craft these, and then you take these foreign doors and put them directly in here, and they sell quite well. Those are the three big boys when it comes to making money. Now, at some point, you're going to get ether disease. You're going to be wondering what that is. I have some ether solvents in here that will cure it. And this is another deep topic. You can keep ether disease, and it can have some benefits. But the main way, I'm just going to show you quickly, is if you go to the map, there is Little Garden over here. And as you are running around in the world, you will find these big daddies. This is what they look like. And just like in Bioshock, they have a little girl that is trapped inside them. And you take one of these, which you get at Little Garden, which is a little ball, and you grab it, and you then throw it at the little girl to capture her. And you can release them in Little Garden and get a bunch of rep. And that is the best way, in my opinion, to cure your ether solvent or your ether disease. You just go like this, and you can inject yourself with it, and it'll make me hallucinate. You'll see that. But that is the best way to get rid of your ether disease. Now, you're going to get Kettle, and Kettle is somebody who you can put money into. He's going to be sleeping right now. But he's someone that you can invest money into, and he can duplicate anything that you've made. So you can't duplicate anything from the game, just anything that you've personally crafted. And most people are doing food with Kettle. And that's another really deep topic, so I'm just going to keep moving. There is a Scrivener once you get to a certain point, and you need to go to the Scrivener in order to continue your fame above 5,000 or to enter the void. So we're starting to get nearer to the endgame type stuff now. And I'll show you on the map real quickly. If you have questions, the embassy is right here. This is where you go to the Scrivener, And again, in this key items, you can see that he has an advanced um, adventurer license, which you will need, which costs like 130,000, I think, to gain extra fame. That'll make your dungeons get stronger. And then there is a void exploration license that allows you to enter the void, also costing about the same. And the entrance is right up here, and you can see that on this map too. So um, that was really rapid fire, very basic on a lot of topics. I could get into a much deeper into every single one of these, but this should be a baseline on how to get you rolling. Um, that's what I have for you today. We kept it pretty short. So my name is Debunk. I stream on Twitch also, and you'll catch me mostly on Mondays. I'll add my information down below. You can check it out if you like to. I'm going to also shout out someone named Lotus. He streams most nights for my time. That would be in the States. Um, and he's a really good resource. I'll post his information down also. And then on top of that, there is this beginner's fact, frequently asked questions, that if you are having more questions about anything, this answers a ton of stuff. And I'm going to post that down below too. You guys are going to have 1,000 more questions because all of this stuff is really deep, but that's what I have for you right now. Enjoy the game.